Hello and welcome to lesson 2 of JavaScript. My name is Mildred. In this lesson, we are going to look at variables in JavaScript, and we're also going to look at the different types of operators that we have in JavaScript. In JavaScript, we declare a variable using the var keyword or the let keyword or the const keyword, and we're going to look at how to use each of these three keywords and what the differences are. Now, a variable is a container for storing values. Let's say we have something called x is equal to 5. X is a variable that has stored a value of 5. So whenever you assign a value to a variable declared with a keyword, either var, we have created a variable called x. X is the unique identifier or the name of the variable. We can also declare this using let x equal 5, and this is also a variable in JavaScript. We can use the constant keyword written const like this, x equals 5. So we use const when the value of the variable will never change. Var was the way we declare variable before the most recent version, but if you want to support older browsers, you have to use the var keyword to declare variables. And the difference between the var and the let is that the let has a block scope while the var has a function scope, and when declared outside of a function has a global scope. And you might not understand scope, but we are going to deal with that later on when we look at the different availability of variables based on where they are declared within a file or in a function. So let's try to use this. Let's say I want to have a variable called x and also a variable called y. So I can use one declaration, write var x as a comma separated list and y. I can now assign a value of x is equal to 5, assign a value of y is equal to 15. Every line must terminate with a semicolon in JavaScript. I want to create a new variable, let's say z. So let z, or we can still use var, is equal to y over x. And when we do this, let's say we want this to be displayed on the web page, and I want it to be displayed within this. So let me change this id to variable. So I'm going to say document.getElement by id, and the id is variable, and I want the inner HTML to have the value of z. When I save this, I go to my web page and I refresh. I will have the value of z as 3, and 3 is 15 divided by 5. So this is how we declare variables in JavaScript. Let's say we want to use a constant, and the constants are things that the value never changes. For instance, let's say we want to calculate the area of let's say the area of a circle, and we know the formula for this is equal to pi times radius square, right? So pi times radius times radius. So this is the definition for the area of a circle. We want to calculate this. I'm going to say constant pi is equal to, the value of pi is 3.14. We want to declare let's say a variable. So let's say let diameter, and the diameter, for instance, let's assume we have a diameter of 14 centimeter, and we want to calculate the radius, and so we'll declare radius diameter divided by 2. And now we want to do area is now going to be, so the radius of diameter divided by 2 can actually be a constant because this value will never change based on this. So the diameter will always change because it depends on the diameter we are given. The pi value is constant and will never change, and the radius is going to be the division of diameter over 2. And now we want to get the area, so we can now say let area over area is now equal to pi times radius square. So we are going to look at the operators, and you understand what I am doing here, and I want to output area here, radius. Now take note that the variable names or the variable identifiers are case sensitive. So if I write radius in all lowercase, is different from all uppercase. So take note of that. When I save now and I refresh, I have the calculation done for me. And so when we get to functions, you can actually use this to create a function that calculates the area of a circle and things like that. And so this is how we use variables, or we declare variables in JavaScript. So the more you use this, the more you will understand. Now in JavaScript, we have different types of operators. We have arithmetic operator, And for the arithmetic operator, we have the addition sign written with a plus, the subtraction sign with a minus, the division sign written with a forward slash. We have the multiplication sign with an asterisk, exponentiation with double asterisk, which means if you want to write 2 raised to the power of 2, you are going to put 2 double asterisk 2, gives you 2 squared. And so we use double asterisk for exponentiation. And then we also have the percentage sign, which we use for modulo. So let's say we want to have the remainder of a division, we use modulo. For instance, let's say x, so let's say let x equal 5, and let's say let y equal 2, and then we want to get z, let z is equal to x modulo y, which means give me the remainder of the division of x and y. So when we divide 5 by 2, we are going to get 2 remainder 1, and so this is going to display 1 on the screen because all we want is the remainder of the division between x and y. And when this is going to be useful is when we start doing things like creating functions to detect if a particular input is an odd number or an even number. And then you can say that if that particular input modulo 2 gives you a remainder, then that's or the remainder it gives you is not 0, then that is an odd number. And if it is 0, that means it's an even number. So things like that. And so that is the logic behind all of this. And that is when these operators will be useful. So you need all of this knowledge to build into the greater topics or the functions you are going to create. So take note that in JavaScript, this equal sign is an assignment operator. And so let's look at the different assignment operators we have. We use equal sign to assign a value to a variable. So we say assign the value of 5 to x using the equal sign. We use, let's say, plus equal to. So we put plus equal like this, plus equal. We mean is the same thing as saying x is equal to x plus 5. If we put minus equal to, it means x is equal to x minus 5. If we put divided by equal to, it means x is equal to x divided by 5. And so you get the logic. So if we put modulo equal to, x is equal to x. So the shorthand form of writing x is equal to x minus 5 is writing x minus equal 5. So these are assignment operators in JavaScript. We also have comparison operator. When we want to say is x equal to 5, we use double equal sign to indicate the equal in JavaScript. If we use triple equal, it means we are checking the equality of the value and the type of the value. If we use the bang sign and equal, we're saying not equal to. We use the bang sign and double equal, we're saying not equal to the value and not equal to the type. We use less than sign, it means less than. Greater than sign, it means greater than. Less than and equal to means it's less than or equal to. So greater than or equal to means it is greater than or equal to. We also have things like logical operators where we use double ampersand to represent and. We use 2 lines to represent or. And this is when we start doing databases and we want to get a value and say 2 conditions. When we start conditional statements, you begin to understand why we use the logical operators. When we want to say if x is equal to 5 and x is this, or if x is equal to this and x is that. So if it satisfies 2 conditions or it satisfies one of 2 conditions. So we are going to look at all of these operators and see how we are going to use all of these operators. And so we have conditional operators as well. And so these are all about the different operators in JavaScript. We have seen how to use variables and the operators that exist. I want you to read in details to understand the different operators we use for arithmetic operations, for assignments, for comparison, for logical, for conditional statements, and we also use for the type operators. As we go deeper, we are going to be using these operators to write our programs. So thank you and see you in the next lesson.